Hey, it's Riley shooting from Maui, and in this video I want to talk to you today about superhuman supplementation. What are the exact supplements that you need to start really feeling better, not only in terms of your health, but to eliminate brain fog, to get more focus, to gain more energy, to start getting your life back. And there's a certain way that we have to use supplements that a lot of people are confused by, and in this video I want to clarify it to you. Now, this video will be in two parts, and part one is going to be the superhuman philosophy around supplements. And part two to this is I'm going to give you the exact supplements that are my favorite, depending if you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced. So how you should see supplements is to supplement an already good existing diet, lifestyle, exercise, and everything else. You can take all the supplements to try and replace these things, but you're not going to see as close to those results you're going for. Now, the new supplements that are coming out are extremely sexy. There's a lot of marketing around them, but you have to understand that there's certain ones that actually do work and a lot of things that are just marketing hype. And the other piece with supplements is a lot of what they say isn't supplements, because it's an unregulated industry, especially within the USA, is not going to actually be in there. And so one of the most important things when it comes to supplements is you have to make sure it is an extremely high quality brand. And what I like to do is look for pharmaceutical type brands, and also making sure that it's third party verified and tested, because anybody can make any claims and you're just going to be wasting your money. And they showed through studies, certain supplements, whatever they say is in there, like magnesium or some of these pre-workout powders, there's not only a percent, like maybe, a percent of what's actually in there, but it's full of fillers that are actually bad and dangerous for you, which is not good for your health long term. So you think you're taking these things and it doesn't work for you, but switch over to a pharmaceutical brand and you're going to notice the differences right away. Now, even with a pharmaceutical brand, everybody is different. Some people feel the supplement more. You might have a friend who has that. Other people are going to feel the supplement less. It's just the nature, and it's the way it goes. And that's where we have to make it entirely personalized and customized to you and your biology. So with that said, with supplements, you really need to see it from a frame of supplementing an already a good existing lifestyle. So once you have the base down, mindset's good, you have the diet down, you have the exercise down, and of course you need to tweak it, depending on where you are, but assuming that you're doing those things, supplements can come in to add to that. Now, where I see supplements that you can use without these other foundations in place is for relief care. And what I mean by that is, let's say you can't focus, let's say you don't have energy. Well, there are certain supplements and nutrients that you can put in your body to really supercharge that process. And depending on what that issue is that you're looking for, you're looking to solve, you can do that. But I'll give you an example. If you have issues with focus, you potentially might have some low dopamine. And so what we can do is supplement something known as L-tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine. And once we have that on an empty stomach, and check with your doctor, but anywhere between 500 to 1500 milligrams, we can start to feel that focus coming back, because we might feel deficient within that nutrient, and our brain doesn't have those precursors. And so we're burning our willpower at all times, but we just need a bit of that additional support. But the thing is, you can't take that forever, because if you keep taking that supplement, you might build a tolerance to it, and it's not actually fixing the root cause. And in fact, it's a bit of the outdated model of the conventional model, which is you go to your family doctor, you have a list of symptoms, he matches those symptoms with his checkbox of those symptoms that you're having, and then he has a medication for that. But how long are you going to take that medication for? In the case of dopamine, people might take Adderall, people might take Vyvanse, people might take Dexedrine and some of these other stimulants for the brain, and people feel great when they're on it. But a lot of time what you're going to see is people slowly keep increasing the dose of that, because you're not actually getting to the root cause of where that's coming from. Supplements are way better than medication in that sense, and that's where you have to be careful. But if you feel like you're taking all these supplements and you're collecting a supplement graveyard and you're not getting better, well, this could be one of the reasons why. And so what we want to do is look more upstream to the root cause. Where's this coming from? Maybe you're not able to focus because your unconscious mind, maybe you have previous forms of trauma that are really weighing down your brain, and you feel distracted all the time. Like you're putting on these glasses and it feels like the world is a fog at all times. It could come from your unconscious mind. Maybe it's your conscious mind and your mindset. Maybe it's your brain neurotransmitters. Maybe it's your brain waves. Maybe it's your hormones. Maybe it's your mitochondria, because you're not getting sufficient energy for your brain to really be utilized. Maybe you have a lot of inflammation in your body. Maybe you'll have a lot of inflammation in your brain, and that's causing these microglial cells to activate, and you're just feeling super wonky. It could be blood sugar related issues. But again, we want to keep going up the chain, keep going upstream to figure out the root cause, the source of all this. Where's all this coming from? And once we get to the root cause, using supplements and, the first beginning stages to give you some of that relief care, then we can come in with the actual protocol, eliminate the weeds, toxins in your body, parasites in your body, inflammation that is holding you back. And once we get rid of that, while we introduce the relief care of the supplements, this is where it's a really great hybrid approach to start feeling better. And then after you eliminate what that root cause is that was slowing you down, just like a garden where we want to remove the weeds first from the garden before we plant the seeds. Because imagine if we plant seeds in a garden that is already full of weeds, it's just going to become a jumbled mess. And that might be what you are doing. You're planting seeds in your garden, meaning buying supplements to try and plant seeds in that garden when your body is already full of weeds. We have to remove the weeds first. And once we remove the weeds, this is where people get better for the rest of their life or for years to come. And so stage 1 is typically going to be that relief care. Stage 2 is going to be that acute protocol. And this is where we have to build the body up. We have all these different systems in our body in order to become superhuman. Think of it like our inner machinery, like the engine that makes our car drive. And we have fluids, we have the hardwiring. But what we want to do is put the training wheels on, build up every single piece of our body, bring back the harmony, the communication between every single piece of our body, of our detoxification, of our brain, of our mitochondria, of our gut, working in harmony together. And when they work in harmony and they're working in silo by themselves at a surplus, then they're going to become self-sufficient. And when we bring those training wheels on, we're going to that acute protocol mode. We already did the relief care. We're introducing some supplements. We're bringing everything together in a way that's customized to you and your biology to become superhuman. And then for some people, it's typically 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Maybe it's long for some people. But if you've been suffering for years at a time and it takes you just a matter of months to get better, that is pretty good. And at that point, we take the training wheels off and we go into something known as automation mode or maintenance mode. And this is where, like I said, we take the training wheels off and then you can just be on your merry way to do that. Now, you can do that in different ways. You can do that yourself. You can do it by trying to address what that root cause is. You can work with somebody. You can do lab testing. And that's especially what I do with a lot of people by sending lab test kits directly to their house. We find out what that root cause is on a very sensitive level. And then we create a customized protocol around them and their schedule to get better. That's where people who are really busy, especially, you need to see the map of your biology to figure out what's going on. What micronutrients are you deficient in? What foods are you eating, even if they're healthy, that are causing you inflammation 24/7, and where your body has to tap into these emergency backup generators just to start working. And so it's always taxing your body. And so think of it like your health bank account is always in a deficit. It's never in a surplus. So what we want to do is bring your health bank account, not the performance bank account for your mind and body, to a massive surplus. So even if you take withdrawals from that bank account, you can still get away with it. But if you're always just in the deficit, sleep is lacking, you're not feeling good, you're using coffee to compensate for it, what you're going to find is you just never can get better. And so there is a way, and that's getting to the root cause. And there's basic things and advanced things, and I won't get into it in all this video. So that's sort of the overall philosophy of what I want to tell you about supplements through Superhuman. Part number 2 is, what supplements should you be taking? Now, everybody is going to be different, but there's different levels to this game when it comes to supplements. You have the beginner, sort of maintenance supplements. What are the supplements the average person needs about every day? Level 2 is sort of where we're going to this acute protocol mode to bring in, for hormones. We might need supplementation for 2 to 3 months, but it has to be specific. Maybe it's for our brain, maybe it's for our gut, maybe it's to eliminate toxins from our body. You get the idea. And then the level up from that is where you have true brain peak performance. And this is where you're getting into peptides, nootropics, and things like that. Going to the bottom of the pyramid, though, for a lot of this maintenance stuff, what I like is a couple supplements. Number 1 is going to be vitamin D3. Now, you want to make sure that your vitamin D levels most people are low, but you just want to make sure yours aren't too high for whatever reason. There's genetic reasons related to that. We'll talk about that another time. But you want to make sure that your D3 levels when you go to get a blood test are sufficiently high. Typically, we want that between 60 to 80 ng/dl. Everybody has a different measurement, but that's typically what we're seeing in the States. But many people have a vitamin D3 level below 30. And it is probably the most important supplement when it comes to the body. And it's actually a hormone. It's going to help with our mood. It's going to help with our hormones. It's going to help with our brain, with our immune system, and so many other systems in our body to make us function. And if we are deficient, that is one of the lowest hanging fruit things that you can do. I particularly like the drops, and usually for a dose, you want to look between about 1,000 IUs for every 25 pounds of body weight. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you're going to be taking 4,000 IU. You weigh 200 pounds, it's about 8,000 IU a day, Once you do that, you want to check what your vitamin D levels are, every couple months, every month. It just depends on how much access you have to these tests. If you ever want to get one of these vitamin D tests sent directly to your house, or I can send you a requisition so you can go directly to a lab to do it, let me know too, and I can help you out there. So that's vitamin D. Number 2 is going to be magnesium. Now, magnesium, most people are deficient in because our soils have become depleted in nutrients since the 1970s. Significantly. And, our grandparents used to be able to just eat the food from the soil, from the crops, and they would have sufficient levels of magnesium and they would be feeling great. But unfortunately now, because of the mass supply and, increasing population, so because of all this, magnesium is more important than ever. And so there's many different forms of magnesium. There's about 7. But what I would suggest is getting magnesium glycinate, and if you can get magnesium malate, this is really good for your body for overall relaxation. There's other forms of magnesium. For example, if you have an Epsom salt bath, that is going to be a different form that I highly recommend as well. And you can mix and match these different forms of magnesium, but my 2 favorite, and I won't go into all the science of it, it's going to be magnesium glycinate and magnesium malate. It's going to help with energy, inflammation, brain fog, growing new brain cells. It's going to help with your gut. It's going to help with motility. It's going to help with recovery and a whole lot more. Now, with magnesium, if you feel like you are anxious, you can't get to sleep, you need less brain fog, you want your mind to be more on point, there's something known as magnesium threonate. And magnesium threonate is good because of all the forms of magnesium, it passes the blood-brain barrier the easiest. And so the other forms, not so much. I mean, you might feel it a little bit, but this form of magnesium is so good, and it works so well. And in studies, people with PTSD has helped them tremendously. And so if you're just suffering a bit of brain fog, too much anxiety from coffee you've been having, deadlines you have to hit, this can really help put the brakes on your brain. Plus, we're deficient with it in the food supply because, like I was saying before, we have created mass with the population. Mass supply of all these crops, and so they can't afford to have the magnesium levels in the soil be as much as they were before. And so that's where we want to be able to supplement, because about 50% of the population, even upwards of 70% of the population, is deficient in magnesium. And the more stress that you are under, the more you are going to be depleting the supply at a very fast rate. So there's magnesium. Now, making sure, again, with these supplements, it's a pharmaceutical brand and one that is third-party tested. Even if you're paying a little bit more for it, it is more than worth it. Trust me, I've taken hundreds, if not thousands, of supplements, myself and clients, and just the ROI for the money you're spending on it is going to be more than worth it for you. The third supplement is going to be one called B complex. Now, ideally, you want the B complex to be methylated. A lot of people are having difficulties with methylation. We'll go into that in another video. But when you have issues with methylation, then you are going to have low energy, and you can figure this out through a genetic test. 23andMe, Circle's DNA. There's a lot of different ones on the market. And if you would like to know, just shoot me a DM on social media and I'll see where I can help. The next one you want to check is a supplement. There's a couple different ones, but fish oil is very good. Now, with fish oil, you have to be very careful, and this is especially important for finding the high quality. I really like Nordic Naturals. There's other types of fish oil out there, but you get the idea. Just make sure it's third-party tested. Other people would verify that it is. People that you trust is what you want to go to. Now, with fish oil, you can either have high EPA or high DHA for the fish oil, or there's just regular one. DHA is more for your mind, for your brain. Most of our brain is fat, and so we need fish oil for attention, to focus, for inflammation. And the studies and the science coming out around this is fish oil you cannot neglect. And so if it's high EPA, then that is going to be more body inflammation. But what I like to do, depending on what your issue is let's say you have deadlines that you have to hit, or you feel like you can't focus, you're under a lot of stress. Maybe you've had a history of not being able to focus, or some people have ADD, ADHD. I like DHA. Now, some people might argue with me on this, but I've just seen on the front trenches with clients doing the lab tests and everything. DHA, give it a couple weeks to really work its way into your body. 1 to 3 grams a day. Check with your doctor, of course, but that is a really good amount. And making sure that you're having it with foods, especially fat, for example, eggs, for example, a ribeye steak, because that is going to help with the absorption. You usually don't want to have fish oil with an empty stomach. Now, typically you can have, it's usually around 1 to 2 soft gels each meal, but just see what the measurement is on the bottle and you'll know how much to take from there. And the final one, starting at the very basics here, is going to be glycine, because glycine is very important for antioxidant supply, anti-aging, and it's really one of my favorite new nutrients. And it's sort of a new one that a lot of people haven't heard of before. But glycine is one, and you can take it roughly first thing in the morning when you wake up. You want to take glycine on an empty stomach. Typically around 5 to 15 grams a day is where I like, just making sure you don't have any gastro upset. But collagen protein is really good because it has glycine. Glycine is one of the main amino acids within collagen protein that is going to help you with anti-aging, joint pain, and so much more. And so glycine cannot be neglected, as well as these other ones too. But glycine, I've just noticed improving with my sleep before I take it before I go to bed, taking the glycine, and combining this with the other ones throughout the day. And again, as a maintenance protocol, this might help a lot with your energy generally, but I don't think it's going to get to the root cause of a lot of these issues you're having. Now, some people, it's quite rare, but sometimes they'll take one of these supplements and then boom, it fixes them because they had a micronutrient deficiency in one of these things, maybe for genetic reasons or something else, or they're not getting that in their food supply, or they can't absorb it because they've got parasites in their gut. But when you introduce these nutrients, you're generally going to feel better, especially in the beginning when you first start taking it. But the next step of the supplements is going to a specific active protocol customized to you, sort of a precision sniper-like approach, where instead of being a machine gun and just firing blindly and seeing what works, what your body actually needs, we can actually do lab testing and figure out what you need the most. And when you figure out what you need the most, then you can save a lot of money long-term, because you're not wasting your time and money needlessly on these supplements that you don't actually need, and you're just spinning your wheels in the process. And that's where you can get better. Once you get better, you're good to go. Then once your health is good, then we can start looking at that superhuman, top 1% of your genetic potential. It's really exciting stuff. So signing out here today in Maui, a couple days left. It's been a great time. Got a lot of sun, got a nice tan. Health is really good, and been taking all these supplements. I'm in maintenance mode, so all these supplements I've told you today, I've been taking them too. So I stand by them, practice what I preach. And if you want to see more about supplements or the whole superhuman model, check out the video down below, and you can see how the whole superhuman model works and how you can apply it to your own life. Or if you'd like some help too, it's also inside of that video. We'll talk to you very soon.